You are holding a secret that most people will never discover, not because it is hidden, not because it is reserved for the chosen, but because they are not ready. And I want you to listen carefully, because I am speaking directly to you. If you are hearing these words right now, something within you has shifted. You may believe you found this message by accident, but I tell you there is no accident in consciousness. Nothing appears in your world that was not first prepared in your inner state. The outer world is only the faithful reflection of the inner one. This is not poetry. This is law. You do not receive what you want. You receive what you are aligned with. Every book, every opportunity, every revelation enters your life when your consciousness becomes capable of recognizing it. There were truths you encountered years ago that meant nothing to you. Yet today the same words could awaken you. What changed? Not the words, not the world. You changed. Your state changed. And when your state changes, your perception changes. And when your perception changes, your world rearranges itself accordingly. I want you to understand this deeply. The secret does not come to you because you searched hard enough. It does not come because you suffered enough or proved yourself worthy. It appears when you become ready to hold it. Readiness is not about effort. It is about identity. It is about who you believe yourself to be. If you still see yourself as lacking, you will continue to experience lack. If you see yourself as unprepared, life will continue to delay what you desire. The universe does not test you. It mirrors you. Most people live as though life must change first before they change. They say, when the money arrives, I will feel secure. When the love arrives, I will feel worthy. When the opportunity arrives, I will feel confident. But I tell you, the order is reversed. You must feel secure before money reflects it. You must feel worthy before love confirms it. You must feel confident before opportunity appears. Consciousness is the cause. Circumstance is the effect. When you reverse that order, you step into creative power. You are not here to search endlessly. You are here to recognize. There is a difference. Searching implies something is missing. Recognition implies it was always present. When you recognize, you stop chasing. When you stop chasing, you become available. And availability is readiness. The secret you believe you are seeking has been waiting for you to stop seeking it as something outside yourself. It has been waiting for you to become the person who can embody it naturally. Think back to a moment in your life when something appeared at exactly the right time. A conversation that answered a question you had not spoken aloud. A breakdown that forced a breakthrough. A book that seemed written specifically for your situation. It did not arrive too early, when you would have dismissed it. It did not arrive too late, when it would no longer matter. It arrived precisely when you could receive it. That is not coincidence. That is correspondence between your inner state and outer event. You cannot fake readiness. You may say the words, you may repeat affirmations, but the law responds to what you truly feel yourself to be. Your nervous system knows the truth. Your reactions reveal the truth. If you still feel small, life will present situations that confirm smallness. If you feel expanded, life will present opportunities that confirm expansion. The world is not deciding your worth. It is reflecting your assumption of worth. I am not asking you to force belief. I am asking you to observe yourself honestly. Who are you assuming yourself to be? Are you assuming you are behind, late, not enough? Or are you willing to assume that you are prepared, that you are exactly where you need to be? The moment you shift that assumption, even slightly, the world must reorganize to mirror it. That is how precise this law is. The secret that appears when you are ready is not a mystical object floating somewhere beyond reach. It is a shift in identity. It is the moment you stop questioning whether you are ready and begin to move as though you are. It is subtle, almost silent. No fireworks, no dramatic announcement. Just a quiet certainty that you no longer need to chase what belongs to you. You simply align with it. And I tell you this with conviction. If you are hearing this now, you are closer than you think. The very fact that these words resonate with you is evidence of readiness. You would not feel this pull if you were not prepared to embody it. You would not stay listening if some deeper part of you did not recognize the truth being spoken. Recognition is not intellectual agreement. It is inner resonance. So I ask you gently, not to pressure you, but to awaken you. What if you are already ready? What if the delay you feared was simply preparation? What if the reason this message is reaching you now is because now you can live it, not just understand it? Sit with that. Let the possibility exist that you are not waiting for readiness. You are remembering it. Take a quiet breath and say within yourself, I am ready. Do not force the words. Let them settle. Notice what arises. Resistance, doubt, calm, certainty. Whatever appears is information about your current state, and that awareness is the doorway. Because the moment you consciously choose to assume readiness, the world must reflect it. It has no choice. That is the law. There are books that inform, and there are books that activate. Most of what the world reads is information. Facts, ideas, theories, opinion. They fill the intellect but leave the state untouched. But there are certain writings, certain words, certain stories that do something entirely different. They do not simply add knowledge to your mind, they awaken something within you. And when that awakening happens, you do not feel like you learned something new, you feel like you remembered something ancient. I want you to understand the difference. Information speaks to the surface of the mind. Activation speaks to the depth of identity. Information tells you what to think. Activation shifts who you are. And the ancient teachers knew this. They did not write merely to explain. They wrote to transform. Every parable, every symbol, every layered story was designed not to entertain you, but to reach beneath your conscious resistance and touch the deeper assumption you hold about yourself. When you read a story that activates you, something subtle happens. You do not argue with it. You do not dissect it logically. You feel it. You feel a stirring, a recognition. It bypasses the analytical mind and goes straight to the state of being. That is activation. It is not persuasion. It is ignition. It lights what was already present, and it only lights when you are ready. You may have encountered texts before that felt meaningless. You may have read spiritual writings and felt nothing. But later, perhaps years later, you return to the same words and suddenly they feel alive. What changed? Not the book, not the author. You changed. Your consciousness reached a point where the words could finally take root. That is why certain teachings appear when you are ready. They do not exist to inform the unprepared. They exist to activate the prepared. You see, activation requires resonance. If you strike a tuning fork at a certain frequency, only another tuning fork at that same frequency will begin to vibrate. The rest remain silent. The book that activates you is a tuning fork. It vibrates at a state of consciousness. If you are not yet aligned with that state, you hear only noise. If you are aligned, even slightly, something within you begins to hum in response. And that hum is recognition. The world teaches you to accumulate knowledge, to gather more information, to become more intellectually equipped. But intellectual accumulation does not equal transformation. You can read hundreds of books and remain unchanged if your identity remains unchanged. True transformation happens when a message penetrates your assumption of self, when you no longer see yourself the same way after reading it, when you cannot return to your old thinking because something deeper has shifted. Activation does not always feel comfortable. Sometimes it feels disruptive. It unsettles your familiar beliefs. It exposes the illusions you have clung to. It reveals that you are not who you thought you were. And yet, beneath the discomfort, there is clarity. There is an inner knowing that this disturbance is growth. Informational knowledge leaves you the same person with more data. Activation reshapes the person who is receiving the data. When you encounter activating truth, you feel seen, not by the author as a personality, but by the law that operates through the words. It feels as though the text is aware of you, as though it arrived not randomly, but precisely, and that feeling is not imagination. It is the meeting of state and stimulus. The words were always available, but only now do they penetrate, because only now does your state allow them to. This is why not everyone can receive the same teaching. It is not about intelligence. It is not about worthiness. It is about readiness. If a person is still deeply identified with lack, A teaching about inner abundance will sound naive. If a person is still committed to external blame, a teaching about inner causation will feel threatening. The words are the same. Yet the reaction differs because the state differs. I am speaking to you now not merely to inform you that books can activate. I am inviting you to observe your own experience. Think of a time when you read something that altered you, not because it presented a clever argument, but because it shifted how you saw yourself. That shift did not come from the text alone. It came from your readiness meeting the text. You do not control when activation occurs through force. You cannot demand it by will. You cannot schedule awakening, but you can prepare yourself by becoming more conscious of your assumptions. When you loosen your attachment to old identities, when you question the stories you have believed about yourself, you create space, and activation requires space. It requires openness. A rigid mind cannot be activated. It can only be informed. The books that activate are not magical objects. They are mirrors. They reveal the state you are becoming, and when you look into them, you see not just words, but possibility. If you feel drawn to certain teachings, pay attention. That attraction is not random. It is evidence of a developing state within you. You are being drawn toward what reflects who you are ready to be. And here is something even deeper. Activation does not end when you close the book. Once a state is awakened, it seeks expression. It begins to influence your reactions, your decisions, your perception. You start noticing different things. You respond differently to situations that once triggered you. You feel a subtle detachment from old patterns. That is not coincidence. That is integration. So when a teaching reaches you and you feel something awaken, do not dismiss it as inspiration alone. It is an invitation to step fully into the identity that has just been illuminated. Because the book did not change you. It revealed you. It did not implant something foreign. It activated what was dormant. And if you are hearing this now and feeling that subtle hum within, that quiet recognition, understand that you are not merely gathering information. You are in the process of activation. The words are not entering an empty space. They are striking a chord that was already tuned, and that chord is you. The universe does not operate like a vending machine. You do not insert effort and receive a predictable reward in return. You have been taught to believe that if you work hard enough, push long enough, struggle intensely enough, something outside of you will eventually respond. But I tell you, that model is incomplete. The universe operates more like a radio system than a transaction machine. It is constantly broadcasting. It is never silent. What you receive depends entirely on the frequency to which you are tuned. Imagine for a moment that countless stations are broadcasting at once. Music, news, silence, noise, wisdom, chaos, all transmitting simultaneously. The signals are present whether you hear them or not. If your dial is set to one station, you will hear only that. You may insist another station does not exist because you cannot hear it. Yet the signal is there. The issue is not the broadcast. The issue is reception. And you are the receiver. You see, most people spend their lives trying to force the broadcast to change. They pray for circumstances to adjust. They demand that reality align with their desires while remaining tuned to doubt, fear, unworthiness, and lack. Then they wonder why the signal they receive reflects those very states. The universe is not withholding. It is responding. It matches frequency with frequency. If you are tuned to scarcity, you will interpret events through scarcity. If you are tuned to readiness, you will perceive opportunity where others see obstacle. This is not metaphor alone. It is law. Consciousness is the dial. Your assumptions are the frequency, and the outer world is the sound that comes through the speaker. You do not change the music by striking the speaker. You change it by adjusting the dial, and yet most people strike the speaker endlessly. They attempt to manipulate appearances without altering the inner state that produces them. When you say nothing is working for me, what you are truly saying is, I am tuned to a frequency that confirms struggle. When you say opportunities never appear for me, what you are truly revealing is the assumption through which you are filtering experience. The universe cannot violate the assumption you consistently hold. It faithfully mirrors it. It broadcasts in alignment with it. And until you consciously adjust your inner frequency, you will continue hearing the same song. Let me speak directly to you. If you feel that life has not been responding the way you hoped, ask yourself what state you have been dwelling in. Have you been dwelling in expectation or in doubt, in gratitude or in resentment, in possibility or in fear? These are not abstract emotions. They are frequencies. They determine what you notice, how you interpret, and what you attract. You do not attract randomly. You resonate consistently. The powerful truth is this: you do not need to create a new signal. You need to tune to it. The abundance you seek is already broadcasting. The connection you desire is already broadcasting. The clarity you long for is already broadcasting. But if you are tuned to the static of self-criticism and anxiety, that static will drown out the signal, and you will mistake interference for reality. Adjusting your frequency does not mean pretending. It does not mean ignoring circumstances. It means shifting identification. It means deciding who you are, being in relation to your circumstances. If you continue to identify as someone waiting, you will perceive delay. If you identify as someone prepared, you will perceive movement. The dial moves when your assumption moves. The sound changes when your state changes. Consider how quickly a radio shifts when the dial is turned even slightly. One small movement, and an entirely different station comes into clarity. In the same way, a subtle shift in your inner conviction can alter your experience dramatically. You do not need a complete overhaul of personality. You need a conscious adjustment of assumption, from "I am not ready" to "I am ready," from "nothing works for me" to "everything is aligning for me." The shift may seem small, but its effect is profound. You may ask, how do I know which frequency I am tuned to? Look at your reactions. Look at what consistently shows up. The outer world is your feedback system. It tells you the station you have been listening to. If you do not like the music, do not condemn the world. Adjust yourself, and understand this clearly. Adjustment is not struggle. It is choice. You choose the state you occupy. You choose the assumption you repeat. You choose the identity you affirm. The universe as a radio system reveals something liberating. You are not at the mercy of random fate. You are participating in a lawful exchange. The moment you choose a new state and persist in it, the signal begins to shift. At first, you may still hear echoes of the old station, but as you remain tuned to the new frequency, clarity increases. Circumstances begin reflecting the adjustment. Synchronicities become noticeable. Conversations align. Ideas appear. What changed? Not the broadcast, your dial. And here is the most important part. The radio does not argue with you. It does not judge you. It does not delay out of cruelty. It simply responds. When you understand this, you stop begging life to change and start aligning yourself consciously. You stop asking, why is this happening to me, and begin asking, what am I tuned to? That question alone shifts power back to you. You are not waiting for the universe to send something new. You are learning to hear what has always been there. And the moment you truly grasp this, frustration softens. You realize that readiness is not about proving yourself worthy of a new signal. It is about choosing to tune into it. You are the receiver. You are the dial. And the music of your life changes when you decide it does. You have been taught that truth is found through searching, that if you look long enough, travel far enough, study hard enough, you will eventually uncover what you seek. And there is some value in movement, because movement exposes you to new ideas. But I tell you, the greatest revelations in your life have not come from frantic searching. They have come from alignment. There is a difference, and it is profound. Searching implies absence. It carries the quiet assumption that what you need is somewhere else, that you are incomplete until you find it, that you must chase it down, earn it, deserve it through effort. Alignment, however, implies presence. It assumes that what you seek already exists within the field of your experience, and your role is not to chase it but to become congruent with it. Searching says, I do not have. Alignment says, I am ready to receive. Notice the energy of searching. It is restless. It is tense. It is always leaning into the future. It whispers that fulfillment lies just beyond the next achievement, the next book, the next relationship, the next breakthrough. But have you not experienced how exhausting that can be? The constant pursuit of something just out of reach, the belief that once you arrive somewhere else, you will finally feel complete. That state of mind keeps you perpetually distant from what you desire because it reinforces the assumption of lack. Alignment feels different. It feels grounded. It is not passive, but it is not desperate. It does not deny desire, but it does not cling to it. It rests in the understanding that what belongs to you will resonate with you. When you are aligned, you are not scanning the horizon in anxiety. You are standing in a quiet certainty that what you need will appear when you are capable of recognizing it. And that certainty changes everything. Think of times when you were searching intensely for something, perhaps clarity about your purpose, perhaps love, perhaps financial stability. In those periods, did you feel expansive or contracted? Often searching contracts the mind. It narrows perception. You become so focused on the absence that you miss the subtle opportunities already present. You may overlook a conversation that could open a door. You may dismiss an idea because it does not look like what you expected. Searching can blind you. Now consider a different experience. A time when you stopped chasing and simply focused on becoming the person you wished to be. You developed yourself. You adjusted your mindset. You cultivated inner confidence or peace. And without strain, something entered your life. A relationship formed naturally. An opportunity appeared unexpectedly. You might have called it coincidence. I call it alignment. You were no longer chasing the outcome. You were embodying the state that corresponded with it. I want you to examine this carefully. When you are aligned with abundance, you do not obsess over money. You think and act from sufficiency. When you are aligned with love, you do not beg for attention. You relate from wholeness. When you are aligned with purpose, you do not panic about direction. You move with quiet intention. The difference is subtle but decisive. Searching tries to force life to respond. Alignment allows life to reflect. This does not mean you sit still and do nothing. Alignment is not laziness. It is internal coherence. It is when your thoughts, emotions, and assumptions point in the same direction. When there is no internal argument about your worthiness or readiness, searching often contains internal conflict. One part of you desires change. Another part doubts it is possible. One part imagines success. Another part expects failure. That contradiction distorts the signal. Alignment resolves it. Let me speak to you directly. If you are constantly seeking the next answer, ask yourself, what assumption is driving that search? Do you believe you are missing something essential? Do you assume you are incomplete? If so, every new teaching will temporarily excite you, but will not transform you. Because beneath the excitement, the assumption of incompleteness remains intact. And that assumption keeps you in motion but never at rest. Alignment begins when you accept that nothing is missing from you in this moment, that you are not behind, that you are not disqualified, that the journey you have walked has prepared you precisely for where you stand. From that acceptance, you no longer search frantically. You observe, you notice, you allow, and in that allowing, recognition becomes possible. You see the teacher when the teacher appears. You see the opportunity when it stands before you. You see the message when it arrives. Searching can make you overlook what alignment makes obvious. When you are aligned, even ordinary events carry meaning. A casual remark may feel significant. A random encounter may shift your direction. Alignment sharpens perception. It does not create new realities from nothing. It reveals what was always present but unnoticed. There is a quiet power in this understanding. You do not need to run ahead of yourself. You do not need to consume endless information hoping that one piece will finally unlock your life. The unlocking occurs when your state changes, and that change happens not through accumulation but through clarity. Clarity about who you choose to be. Clarity about what you assume to be true. Clarity about your readiness. So, I ask you gently, are you searching because you believe something is missing? Or are you willing to align because you trust that what you seek is already within reach? The shift from searching to alignment may appear small, but it transforms your experience entirely. In searching, you chase the future. In alignment, you meet it. And when you meet it from a state of inner coherence, it recognizes you immediately. You have been conditioned to see reality as a backdrop, a neutral stage upon which events randomly unfold. But I tell you, reality is not passive. It is responsive. It is not an empty space in which you move helplessly. It is an intelligent field that mirrors your consciousness with precision. And when I say intelligent, I do not mean that it thinks the way a human mind thinks. I mean that it responds lawfully, consistently, faithfully to the state you occupy. Everything you experience is filtered through your awareness. You do not encounter raw reality. You encounter reality interpreted by your assumptions. That interpretation then shapes what you notice, what you ignore, what you attract, and how you respond. The field around you is not fixed. It is dynamic. It reorganizes itself in accordance with the identity you assume. When your inner state shifts, the field shifts with it, not symbolically, literally. You may say that events are determined by external forces, that circumstances happen regardless of your thoughts. But examine your life closely. Have you not seen how two people can live in the same environment, yet experience entirely different worlds? One sees opportunity where another sees limitation. One perceives support where another perceives hostility. The outer conditions may appear similar, but the lived experience differs because consciousness differs. The field reflects the observer. There is a principle in physics known as the observer effect. The act of observation influences the outcome of what is observed. While the scientific details are complex, the metaphor is powerful. Consciousness does not stand outside of reality. It participates in shaping it. You are not separate from the field you perceive. You are embedded within it. And because you are embedded within it, your state contributes to its configuration. This is why certain opportunities seem to appear for some and not for others. It is not favoritism. It is correspondence. When you assume that life supports you, you behave differently. You notice different signals. You interpret ambiguous situations optimistically. Those behaviors generate different outcomes. The field responds to your orientation. When you assume life is against you, you become defensive, guarded, cautious. That posture alters your interactions. It narrows perception. It closes doors before they are fully seen. The field responds to that as well. The intelligent field of reality does not punish or reward. It mirrors. It does not judge your worth. It reflects your assumption of worth. If you persist in believing you are unprepared, the field will present scenarios that confirm unreadiness, not to condemn you, but to align with you. If you persist in assuming you are capable, the field will present challenges that allow you to demonstrate capability. It is a precise system. I want you to notice something subtle. When you are in a state of anxiety, your perception changes. Neutral comments feel critical. Small delays feel catastrophic. Minor setbacks feel like proof of failure. The world seems hostile. Yet when you are in a state of calm confidence, the same events appear manageable. A delay becomes an adjustment. A challenge becomes an opportunity. The outer circumstances may not have changed dramatically, but your experience of them shifts entirely. That is the field responding to state. You are not separate from what you call reality. You are participating in it. Your expectations act like instructions. Your beliefs act like coordinates. Your emotional tone acts like a signal. The field integrates these elements and reflects them back as lived experience. This is why you cannot sustainably change your life by altering behavior alone. If your state remains unchanged, the field will eventually restore the old pattern. Sustainable change requires a shift in identity, because identity stabilizes state. Many people attempt to control the field through force. They try to manipulate outcomes without adjusting assumptions. They attempt to engineer circumstances while remaining internally misaligned. But the field responds to who you are being, not to what you are demanding. You cannot deceive it with temporary enthusiasm. It responds to consistency. When your assumption becomes stable, the field aligns steadily. You may wonder how to engage this intelligent field consciously. The answer is not complexity. It is awareness. Observe the assumptions you repeat. Notice the internal narrative you rehearse. Become conscious of the identity you defend. Every time you affirm silently that you are unlucky, overlooked, inadequate, you reinforce a configuration within the field. Every time you affirm that you are prepared, supported, capable, you shift that configuration. The field does not resist your declaration, it arranges around it. There is comfort in understanding this. You are not trapped in randomness. You are not subject to arbitrary fate. You are interacting with a responsive system. When you feel powerless, it is often because you have forgotten your participation. The moment you remember that your state is causal, your posture changes. You become deliberate. You stop blaming circumstances and start examining assumptions. The intelligent field of reality is always active. It does not sleep. It does not pause. It reflects continuously. If you want different reflections, you must embody a different image, not briefly, not theatrically, but consistently. Consistency transforms state into identity, and identity stabilizes the signal you broadcast. I am not telling you that challenges will disappear the moment you shift. I am telling you that your relationship to them will change, and that altered relationship will alter outcomes over time. You will interpret obstacles as feedback instead of condemnation. You will see patterns instead of chaos. You will recognize alignment instead of coincidence. The field is intelligent because it is lawful. It does not contradict itself. When you change, it changes with you. When you open, it opens. When you contract, it contracts. It mirrors faithfully. And once you truly grasp this, you stop asking, why is this happening to me, and begin asking, what state am I inhabiting? That question alone restores agency. You are not waiting for reality to awaken. You are awakening within reality. And as you do, the field reorganizes around the consciousness you embody. This is not mystical privilege. It is participation in a lawful system. The intelligent field is responding now, as it always has. The only question is, what are you asking it to reflect? There are teachings that you search for, and there are teachings that find you. And I want you to consider carefully which kind you are experiencing right now. Because when a text truly finds you, it does not feel accidental. It feels inevitable. It feels as though it has been waiting, not in some distant library, but within the unfolding of your own awareness. You may think you clicked on it randomly, but I tell you, the movement began long before that moment. It began when your consciousness reached the threshold where the message could finally take root. A text that finds you does not demand that you chase it. It appears when your inner state is ready to recognize it. You can walk past the same words 100 times and feel nothing. Then one day you read them and something inside you shifts. It is not the words that changed. It is your capacity to receive them. This is why I say the text does not wait to be discovered. It waits for you to become the one who can hold it. You may have wondered why certain ideas seemed distant or irrelevant in the past. Perhaps you dismissed them as unrealistic or impractical. Yet now those same ideas resonate deeply. That resonance is evidence of growth. It is proof that you have crossed an invisible line within yourself. The teaching did not move closer to you. You moved closer to it. And when alignment occurs, recognition feels effortless. The world assumes that knowledge is acquired through effort, that if you search hard enough you will eventually uncover truth. But there is a deeper principle at work. The truth you are ready for emerges naturally in your experience. It arrives through a conversation, a book recommendation, a sudden curiosity, a message that appears in your path. It is not forced. It is attracted. The attraction is not between you and the text as objects. It is between states of consciousness. When a text finds you, it does not overwhelm you. It meets you precisely where you are. It challenges you, but not beyond your capacity. It stretches you, but not to the point of collapse. That precision is not coincidence. It is correspondence. You have evolved into the person who can integrate what it offers. Integration is the key word. Information can be heard at any time. Integration can only occur when the soil of awareness is prepared. Consider how seeds behave. A seed may lie dormant in the ground for years until conditions are right. The soil must be ready. The temperature must be appropriate. The moisture must be sufficient. Only then does the seed sprout. The teaching is the seed. Your consciousness is the soil. If the soil is not ready, the seed remains inactive. It is not dead. It is waiting. When you are ready, growth is inevitable. This is why forcing enlightenment is futile. You cannot demand that a seed sprout by shouting at it. You cannot accelerate awakening by impatience. You prepare the soil. You nurture openness. You release resistance. And then, without drama, realization emerges. When the text finds you, it feels natural. It feels timely. It feels almost obvious, as though you had known it all along but forgotten. I want you to reflect on how this message reached you. Out of millions of possibilities, you encountered these words. You could have ignored them. You could have scrolled past them. Yet something held your attention. That something is not external manipulation. It is internal readiness. You recognize something familiar in what you heard. That familiarity is the sign. It is the signal that your state has shifted enough to allow activation. The text that finds you does not impose belief. It invites recognition. It does not ask you to accept blindly. It asks you to see clearly. And clarity feels different from persuasion. When you are persuaded, you feel pressure. When you recognize, you feel alignment. Recognition is quiet. It is steady. It does not require argument. It simply settles into you as truth. You must also understand that once a text finds you, it alters you, even subtly. You may not notice dramatic change immediately, but your perception adjusts. You begin to interpret events differently. You notice patterns you previously ignored. You question assumptions that once felt fixed. The words do not stay confined to the page. They begin to operate within you. That is the nature of activation. Some people encounter profound teachings and remain unchanged. Why? Because they are not ready to integrate. They may admire the ideas intellectually, but their identity remains intact. When a text truly finds you, it does more than interest you. It unsettles the old identity. It makes certain patterns feel uncomfortable. It highlights contradictions between who you have been and who you are becoming. That discomfort is growth. You are not being singled out by destiny in a theatrical sense. You are participating in a lawful exchange. As your consciousness evolves, different material becomes accessible. Different insights resonate. Different teachers appear. The text that finds you is a reflection of the state you are entering. It mirrors the version of you that is emerging. And here is something important. The text does not complete you. It reveals you. It does not give you something foreign. It awakens what was dormant. If it feels powerful, it is because the power was already within you. The words act as a key, but the lock was always part of you. When the key turns, it is not creating something new. It is unlocking what was present but inaccessible. So do not treat the teaching as an external savior. Do not imagine that it has chosen you in some exclusive sense. Instead, understand that you have chosen, through your inner development, to become the person who can receive it. The meeting of you and the message is mutual. It is the convergence of readiness and revelation. You may think you found this text. I tell you, it found you, not because it possesses intention like a human mind, but because consciousness recognizes itself. When your inner state reaches a certain clarity, it attracts material that reflects that clarity. That is the law, and you are living it right now. You cannot fake frequency. You may attempt to perform confidence. You may speak words of abundance. You may repeat affirmations about readiness, but the field does not respond to performance. It responds to state, and state is not what you declare outwardly. It is what you consistently feel yourself to be inwardly. This is where many people become confused. They believe that saying the right words is enough. They believe that if they adopt the language of belief, the world must comply. But language without identification is noise. The universe responds to identification. When I say you cannot fake frequency, I am speaking about coherence. Your thoughts, emotions, assumptions, and self-concept must align. If you say, "I am ready," while secretly believing I am unworthy, the deeper assumption will dominate. If you say abundance is coming while dwelling in fear of loss, fear will shape perception. The law is precise. It does not respond to surface statements. It responds to the dominant state you inhabit. Consider how your body reacts in moments of stress. You may tell yourself everything is fine, yet your shoulders tighten, your breathing shortens, your jaw clenches. Your body reveals what you truly feel. In the same way, your life reveals the frequency you are broadcasting. If patterns of delay repeat, if the same relational dynamics recur, if opportunities slip in familiar ways, these are not random misfortunes. They are reflections of a stable assumption. You cannot trick the law because the law is impersonal. It is not persuaded by effort. It is not impressed by intensity. It is moved only by consistency of state. If you persist in feeling inadequate, even subtly, that feeling becomes your frequency. And frequency shapes interpretation. Interpretation shapes behavior. Behavior shapes experience. The cycle continues until you consciously alter the starting point, which is identity. Many people attempt to jump from one extreme to another. They feel unworthy for years, then suddenly declare themselves powerful and expect immediate transformation. But transformation stabilizes through repetition of state. It requires embodiment. It requires that you begin to think from the new identity rather than about it. Thinking about confidence is not the same as thinking from confidence. Thinking about readiness is not the same as acting from readiness. You might ask how to know your true frequency. Look at what feels natural to you. Not what you wish were natural, but what feels familiar. Do compliments make you uncomfortable? Does success feel unsafe? Does stability feel foreign? These reactions reveal underlying frequency. You may consciously desire change, yet unconsciously cling to the familiar. The law responds to familiarity, not to wishful thinking. When you attempt to fake frequency, you create internal conflict. Part of you speaks empowerment, another part whispers doubt. That contradiction generates unstable results. One day you feel inspired, the next you feel discouraged. This instability is not proof that the law is inconsistent. It is proof that your state is inconsistent. The outer world mirrors the fluctuation within. To shift frequency authentically, you must address the assumption beneath the performance. Ask yourself what you truly believe about yourself. Do you believe you deserve ease? Do you believe you are capable of sustained success? Do you believe love can remain without collapse? These are not intellectual questions. They are experiential. Your reactions to life answer them more honestly than your declarations. You cannot force yourself into a new identity through strain. Force creates resistance. The more you push against your current state, the more attention you give it. Instead, you gently but persistently assume the new identity. You imagine from it. You act as though it were already stable. You do not fight the old self. You withdraw identification from it. Over time, the new state becomes familiar, and familiarity is what the law responds to. Frequency is not about excitement. It is about baseline. You can feel highly motivated for a day and still be rooted in doubt beneath it. The baseline state determines outcome. What do you return to when no one is watching? What do you assume in silence? That is your frequency, and that is what shapes your experience. The liberating truth is that while you cannot fake frequency, you can consciously cultivate it, not through dramatic gestures, but through consistent assumption. If you wish to embody readiness, begin to interpret events as confirmation of readiness. If a delay occurs, do not label it rejection. Label it preparation. If a challenge arises, do not interpret it as disqualification. Interpret it as growth. These interpretations gradually shift baseline identity. Your nervous system must learn safety in the new state. If success feels dangerous because it threatens old beliefs, you will unconsciously sabotage it. If intimacy feels unsafe because you associate vulnerability with loss, you will create distance. The law does not override your nervous system. It reflects it. Therefore, as you shift frequency, patience is required, not impatience. not self-criticism. You cannot deceive the universe, but you do not need to. The universe is not an adversary to outsmart. It is a mirror to align with. When you stop performing belief and begin embodying it quietly, results stabilize. You feel less need to convince others. You feel less urgency to prove. There is a calm certainty that replaces desperation. That calm certainty is genuine frequency shift. If you are hearing this, I want you to examine your life gently, not with judgment, but with honesty. Where are you attempting to perform readiness instead of embodying it? Where are you speaking confidence while nurturing insecurity? Awareness is the first adjustment of the dial. Once you see clearly, you can choose deliberately. You cannot fake frequency, but you can choose it. You can choose the identity you rehearse internally. And as you persist, that identity becomes natural. When it becomes natural, the field reflects it effortlessly. There is no strain in that process. There is alignment, and alignment produces stability. There is a dimension of reality surrounding you right now that you cannot see. Not because it is hidden, not because it is absent, but because your perception is not yet calibrated to recognize it. Think of infrared light. It exists whether your eyes detect it or not. It radiates continuously. It carries information. It influences environments. Yet, without the proper lens, you remain unaware of it. You do not deny its existence once you understand the science. You simply accept that your natural sight is limited. In the same way, your current perception of life is limited by the state you occupy. You believe you are seeing everything available to you, but you are only seeing what your consciousness allows you to register. Opportunities, connections, insights, resources may be present, but invisible to your current assumptions. When you say nothing is happening for me, you may simply be observing through a narrow lens. The field has not withdrawn possibility. Your perception has not expanded to include it. Imagine placing infrared goggles over your eyes. Suddenly shapes appear where you once saw darkness. Heat signatures glow. Movement becomes visible. The world has not changed in that instant. Your ability to perceive it has. That shift feels dramatic, yet the external environment remained the same. This is how consciousness operates. When your inner state shifts, new patterns become obvious. Conversations carry meaning that once went unnoticed. Coincidences begin to look like alignment. What changed? Not the world, your lens. You often interpret the absence of evidence as evidence of absence. If you do not see opportunity, you assume none exists. If you do not perceive support, you assume you are alone. But what if the support is present and your lens is tuned to skepticism? What if the opportunity is near and your lens is tuned to doubt? The assumption you carry filters what you notice. It determines what stands out and what fades into the background. Perception is selective. Your mind constantly sorts through information. It highlights what aligns with your beliefs and discards what contradicts them. If you believe you are unlucky, you will notice setbacks and ignore small victories. If you believe you are supported, you will notice assistance and interpret obstacles as temporary. The infrared metaphor teaches you that reality contains more than your senses immediately reveal. Expansion begins when you accept that your view is partial. You cannot expand perception through force. You expand it by altering assumption. When you assume that life contains possibility for you, your attention shifts. You become more observant. You notice subtle openings. A passing remark sparks an idea. An invitation feels significant. A challenge reveals hidden strength. These elements were present before, but your previous state rendered them invisible. The lens of doubt narrows vision. The lens of readiness widens it. This is why two individuals can experience the same circumstance differently. One sees a closed door, the other sees a redirection. One interprets silence as rejection, the other interprets it as space. The outer stimulus is identical. The inner lens differs, and that difference alters behavior. Behavior influences outcome. Outcome reinforces belief. The cycle continues until perception shifts. When you understand that perception shapes experience, you stop demanding that the world change first. You begin adjusting your lens. You question the story you are telling about what you see. You ask whether your interpretation is the only possible one. That inquiry alone begins expansion. It loosens the grip of fixed belief. It allows alternative meanings to emerge. Consider a time when you felt hopeless about a situation. In that state, every detail appeared negative. Then, perhaps unexpectedly, your mood shifted. Perhaps you received encouraging news, or you simply rested. Suddenly, the same situation appeared manageable. Solutions that were invisible earlier became obvious. Nothing external had dramatically changed. Your internal lens had. Perception expansion is not fantasy. It is refinement. It is acknowledging that your senses and interpretations are not absolute. They are conditioned. When you change conditioning, you change experience. You do not fabricate new realities out of nothing. You reveal aspects of reality that were previously filtered out. The infrared metaphor also reminds you that unseen does not mean unreal. You may not yet perceive the path forward clearly. You may not see the full design of your life, but the absence of immediate clarity does not mean absence of structure. There are forces aligning. There are connections forming. There are lessons integrating. When your state matures to meet them, they will become visible. This understanding cultivates patience without passivity. You remain engaged, but you do not panic at temporary invisibility. You trust that perception evolves. You trust that readiness sharpens sight. Instead of concluding nothing is happening, you consider that something may be developing beyond your current lens. As you expand perception, you will notice subtle shifts. You will interpret events less personally. You will feel less threatened by uncertainty. You will recognize patterns where you once saw chaos. That recognition strengthens confidence. Confidence stabilizes state. State influences what you continue to see. Expansion compounds. You are not confined to your present way of seeing. Your lens is adjustable. Each assumption you release widens view. Each identity you outgrow increases clarity. The field of reality contains more than you currently perceive. And as your consciousness evolves, the invisible becomes visible. Do not mistake temporary blindness for permanent limitation. The world is richer than your immediate interpretation. When you align with readiness, when you soften resistance, when you question inherited assumptions, you place on the goggles. You begin to see heat where there was darkness, movement where there was stillness, opportunity where there was doubt. The environment did not transform. You did. I want you to imagine a marketplace that does not exist on any map. It is not located in a city, nor in a country. It exists between thought and matter, between what you imagine and what you experience. It is not a physical place you can travel to, yet you stand in it every day, and whether you realize it or not, you participate in it constantly. This marketplace is where inner states exchange themselves for outer realities. In this marketplace, there are no ordinary goods, no fruit, no cloth, no coins exchanged for bread. What is traded here are assumptions, identities, possibilities. The stalls are filled with futures waiting to be selected, relationships waiting to be recognized, insights waiting to be embodied. They are not hidden. They are present, but they are not available to everyone in the same way. Access depends on resonance. Imagine walking through this marketplace as you are now. You pass by countless opportunities. Some appear dull. Some seem irrelevant. Some you do not even notice. Yet another person walking beside you might see something luminous where you see nothing. They might feel drawn to a possibility that you overlook entirely. Why? Because what shines for you depends on what you are ready to perceive. This marketplace is not chaotic. It is ordered by law. Every object upon its tables is encoded with a particular state of consciousness. When you approach an opportunity, it does not ask who you are by name. It responds to who you are in state. If your inner world is aligned with its frequency, it becomes visible, almost magnetic. If you are misaligned, it remains inert, unremarkable. You may think that life randomly places chances before you, but I tell you, nothing in this marketplace is random. What appears significant to you is determined by your inner condition. When you dwell in doubt, you gravitate toward evidence of limitation. When you dwell in readiness, You gravitate toward evidence of expansion. The goods have always been there. Your awareness selects them. Consider how many times you have overlooked something only to later realize its value. A skill you once ignored becomes essential. A person you barely noticed becomes central to your life. An idea you dismissed becomes transformative. The marketplace did not change. Your perception did. You matured into the state that could recognize worth where once you saw none. This marketplace between thought and matter is the meeting point of imagination and manifestation. Every thought you persist in is like currency. Every assumption you rehearse is like an offer placed upon the table. The exchange happens subtly. You assume yourself unprepared, and the marketplace reflects scenarios that confirm unreadiness. You assume yourself capable, and different goods become available. It is important to understand that in this place, force is ineffective. You cannot seize what does not resonate with you. You may attempt to grasp at outcomes, but without internal alignment, they slip through your hands. You may envy what another carries, but unless you embody the state required, it will not stabilize in your possession. The law protects coherence. It does not permit sustained contradiction. You stand in this marketplace constantly. Every day you are selecting through your attention. Attention is not neutral. What you focus on grows vivid. What you ignore fades. If you focus on scarcity, scarcity becomes the dominant stall in your experience. If you focus on possibility, possibility becomes more prominent. The marketplace responds to your gaze. This is why comparison is misleading. You see another person holding something you desire and assume the marketplace favored them. But what you do not see is the inner state that aligned with that outcome. The goods are not distributed by favoritism. They are distributed by resonance. If you cultivate the same inner alignment, similar opportunities will become visible to you. There is something subtle and powerful in recognizing this. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are selecting continuously. Even when you believe nothing is happening, you are reinforcing certain assumptions. You are walking past some stalls and lingering at others. Your habitual focus shapes the terrain of your experience. When you begin to shift internally, the marketplace rearranges. Stalls you once ignored begin to glow. Conversations you once dismissed feel significant. Invitations you once declined seem intriguing. The field between thought and matter responds immediately to changes in your state. It does not require time to notice your shift. It reflects it in perception first. Then in circumstance, you may ask how to navigate this marketplace consciously. The answer is not frantic searching. It is deliberate alignment. When you decide who you are being, you alter what attracts your attention. If you assume readiness, you begin to notice openings that correspond with readiness. If you assume worthiness, you notice interactions that affirm worth. The goods that resonate become unmistakable. Remember, nothing here is imposed upon you. You are not forced to select limitation. You are not compelled to choose doubt. But if those are the states you persist in, they will dominate your experience. The marketplace is neutral but responsive. It offers according to your inner declaration. You are both the visitor and the merchant in this place. You bring your assumptions to the table. You exchange them for experiences. You may not see the transaction occur, yet it is constant. Thought moves toward form. Form reflects thought. The exchange is lawful. As you walk through this marketplace, become aware of what draws your attention. Notice what feels alive. Notice what feels distant. Those reactions reveal your current alignment. And if you wish to experience different goods, adjust the state you carry. The marketplace will respond without hesitation. It always has. Now let me tell you about Jessica. And as I speak of her, I want you to see yourself in her, because this is not merely a story about a woman in a marketplace. It is a reflection of a state many of us have occupied. Jessica believed she was failing. She sat behind a table filled with objects that seemed extraordinary, yet no one could successfully purchase them. Each time a customer approached, eager and confident, something strange would occur. Gold coins would dissolve into dried leaves the moment they touched her hand. Silver would evaporate into mist. Gems would crumble into dust. Transaction after transaction collapsed before completion. From the outside, it looked like incompetence. From her perspective, it felt like inadequacy. She began to assume something was wrong with her, that she lacked skill, lacked favor, lacked worth. She compared herself to others whose goods sold easily. She questioned her value. She replayed each failed exchange in her mind, searching for error. But what she interpreted as failure was not failure at all. It was misalignment. I want you to pause and consider how often you have done the same. An opportunity did not solidify. A relationship dissolved. A plan disintegrated before reaching fruition. And you concluded that you were not enough, that you had somehow sabotaged the outcome. But what if what appeared as collapse was protection? What if what looked like rejection was resonance, refusing to settle where it did not belong? Jessica did not understand at first that the objects on her table were not meant for everyone. They were not defective. They were selective. Each item responded only to a particular state of consciousness. When someone approached with desire but without alignment, the payment could not hold form. It was not that the buyers lacked money. It was that they lacked readiness. The transaction required more than currency. It required correspondence. You may think that when something slips through your hands, it proves your insufficiency. But sometimes what slips away does so because it cannot remain within your current state. It is not punishment. It is coherence. The law does not allow sustained contradiction. If you are not aligned with what you attempt to hold, it cannot stabilize. And if it cannot stabilize, it dissolves. Jessica spent years believing she was cursed. She did not realize she was guarding. The objects she carried were not for the unprepared. They were waiting for the one whose state matched their essence. Her frustration came from assuming that every failed exchange was evidence of personal failure. But the deeper truth was that not every opportunity that appears before you is meant to solidify in that moment. Some are rehearsals, some are mirrors, some are confirmations of misalignment. I want you to think about something in your life that did not materialize. Something you once desperately wanted but could not secure. At the time, you may have felt rejected. You may have believed that you missed your chance. But with distance, perhaps you see that you were not yet the person who could sustain it. Or perhaps it was not aligned with who you were becoming. The collapse was not a verdict. It was a safeguard. Jessica's failure was not incompetence. It was timing. It was alignment. She had assumed that success meant selling to anyone who approached. But the law governing her marketplace required resonance. And resonance is precise. It does not respond to pressure. It does not yield to desperation. It responds only to state. When you operate from a state of unworthiness, you may attract situations that reflect that belief. Even if something valuable approaches you, you may unconsciously distort it. You may doubt it. You may rush it. And in rushing, you destabilize it. The payment turns to leaves. The silver evaporates. The gem disintegrates, not because the opportunity was false, but because the alignment was incomplete. Jessica's turning point did not come from forcing better sales techniques. It came from understanding the nature of her goods. She realized that her role was not to convince anyone. It was to remain steady in the knowledge that the right exchange would occur when the right state appeared. She stopped interpreting every dissolution as personal inadequacy. She began to see it as information. There is power in that shift. When you stop labeling every delay as failure, you regain clarity. You become less reactive. You no longer chase every prospect. You wait in quiet confidence for alignment. That confidence itself alters the field. Desperation repels. Assurance attracts. When Jessica stopped doubting herself, the marketplace felt different. She was no longer frantic. She was attentive. I want you to see how this applies to you. You are both the merchant and the goods. You carry qualities that are not meant to be recognized by everyone. Not every environment will value your gifts. Not every connection will stabilize. When something dissolves, instead of collapsing into self-criticism, ask whether resonance was present. Was the exchange mutual? Was the state aligned? Failure often disguises itself as feedback. It reveals where identity does not yet match desire. It invites refinement rather than shame. When you misinterpret it as proof of inadequacy, you entrench limitation. When you see it as evidence of misalignment, you gain agency. You can adjust state. You can cultivate readiness. Jessica's experience teaches you that what appears as rejection may actually be selection. The field filters. It protects coherence. It ensures that what solidifies in your life corresponds with who you are being. That is not cruelty. It is precision. And once you understand that precision, you stop taking dissolution personally. What failed was not you. What failed was the match. And once the match is correct, nothing needs to be forced. The transaction completes naturally. Coins remain solid. Value is exchanged without strain. You do not need to beg for recognition. You embody it. And when you embody it, what is meant for you does not evaporate. Now let me tell you about the traveler. And as I describe him, I want you to listen not as an observer, but as if you are hearing about yourself. This man had walked long distances, not only across land but across states of mind. He had searched in cities and deserts, in books and in conversations, in effort and in exhaustion. His hands were empty, not because he lacked desire, but because he had finally reached a point where desire had softened into quiet openness. He no longer chased with urgency. He moved with awareness. When he entered the marketplace, he did not arrive with the frantic energy of someone trying to acquire something at any cost. He arrived with the stillness of someone who had searched enough to realize that searching itself was not the answer. His eyes were not darting from stall to stall. They were steady. His breathing was not rushed. His posture was not grasping. He did not even know exactly what he was looking for, and that is precisely why he was ready. As he walked past Jessica's table, he noticed a simple copper bowl. It was not the most ornate object. It did not shimmer like the others. Many had passed it by, distracted by more elaborate treasures. But when his gaze rested upon it, something subtle happened. The bowl did not make a sound you could hear with your ears, yet it seemed to hum with presence. It was as if the space between him and the object tightened into clarity. He felt a recognition that did not require explanation. I want you to understand that moment. It was not intellectual analysis. It was resonance. His body knew before his mind understood. There was no debate within him about whether he deserved it. No frantic calculation about what it would cost. There was only a quiet certainty that this object and his current state matched. That certainty is what you feel when you encounter something meant for you in that moment. It is calm, not desperate. It is clear, not chaotic. When he reached for the bowl, he did so gently, not as someone seizing opportunity in fear that it might disappear, but as someone acknowledging alignment. And when he offered payment, something extraordinary happened. The coins did not dissolve into leaves. They did not evaporate into mist. They remained solid. The transaction completed without resistance. For the first time, Jessica witnessed an exchange that did not collapse. What changed? Not the bowl, not the coins. The state of the one who approached it changed everything. The traveler did not force the outcome. He did not attempt to convince the bowl of his worth. He simply embodied the readiness required to hold it. And because of that embodiment, the field allowed coherence. The exchange held form. You see, when you are aligned with what you desire, you do not experience frantic intensity. You experience recognition. Recognition feels natural. It does not require overthinking. It does not demand proof. It feels like stepping into something that has already been prepared. And often, the preparation was internal long before the outer moment arrived. The traveler's journey was not wasted wandering. It was refinement. Each disappointment had stripped away urgency. Each unmet expectation had dissolved illusion. By the time he reached the marketplace, he was no longer searching from lack. He was standing in presence. And presence is powerful. Presence stabilizes exchange. When you are fully present, you do not grasp, you allow. Think of times in your life when you obtained something through strain. Perhaps you pushed hard to secure a position, a relationship, an outcome. Even after obtaining it, you felt tension. You felt the need to protect it. That tension revealed misalignment. Contrast that with moments when something entered your life effortlessly. You did not feel compelled to defend it constantly. It felt appropriate. That is resonance at work. The copper bowl symbolizes what you are capable of receiving when your state matures. It may appear ordinary to others. They may not understand why it matters to you. But when resonance occurs, explanation becomes unnecessary. The world does not need to validate your recognition. Your internal alignment is sufficient. The traveler did not bargain aggressively. He did not attempt to lower the price out of insecurity. He trusted the exchange. That trust reflected a deeper assumption. He assumed he was worthy of what he recognized. Without that assumption, doubt would have entered. Doubt would have destabilized the moment. But because he embodied readiness, the exchange completed naturally. You often wonder why certain opportunities stabilize for others but not for you. It is not because they are favored. It is because their state matches what they are receiving. When your state matches, the coins remain solid. When it does not, they dissolve. This is not a moral judgment. It is a law of coherence. The traveler teaches you that readiness is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is not desperate. It is composed. It is clear. It is the quiet knowing that you can hold what you reach for. When you reach from that state, resistance diminishes. The field aligns. And here is something important. The traveler did not become ready in the marketplace. He arrived ready. The preparation occurred before the encounter. In the same way, when something significant appears in your life, the real work has already been done internally. The moment of exchange is simply the visible confirmation. You are walking through your own marketplace daily. There are bowls waiting. There are exchanges poised to complete. But they require a version of you that does not grasp, does not beg, does not perform. They require a version of you that stands in calm recognition. When you embody that state, you will notice that what once dissolved begins to remain. The traveler did not chase the bowl. He recognized it. And recognition is the signature of alignment. When you reach that state, what is meant for you does not resist you. It meets you. What you witnessed in the marketplace was not magic. It was resonance. And resonance is not a mystical fantasy. It is a principle as precise as gravity. When two frequencies match, they amplify each other. When they do not, there is no sustained vibration. The copper bowl did not choose the traveler in an emotional sense. It responded to coherence. The same law governs every experience in your life. Resonance means correspondence between inner state and outer form. It means that what stabilizes in your world reflects what is stabilized within you. If your inner world is fragmented, unstable, conflicted, your outer experiences will mirror that instability. If your inner world is coherent, steady, aligned, your outer experiences will begin to reflect that steadiness. This is not superstition. It is structure. Imagine striking a tuning fork. Only another tuning fork tuned to the same pitch will begin to vibrate. The rest remains silent. The vibration is selective. It is not biased. It is not emotional. It is lawful. In the same way, the opportunities that respond to you are those tuned to your dominant state. If you are dwelling in doubt, you will resonate with situations that require doubt. If you are dwelling in confidence, you will resonate with situations that confirm confidence. This is why you cannot force outcomes through intensity alone. Intensity does not equal alignment. You can desire something passionately and still repel it if your underlying assumption contradicts it. You may long for success while assuming you are destined to fail. You may crave love while assuming you are unworthy. The desire sends one signal, the assumption sends another. The dominant frequency prevails. Resonance is subtle but powerful. It operates beneath conscious awareness until you become deliberate about it. You may believe that life is random because you do not see the pattern clearly. But when you observe your experiences over time, patterns emerge. The same types of relationships repeat. The same financial cycles recur. The same emotional responses trigger similar outcomes. These repetitions are not coincidence. They are resonance loops. If you repeatedly assume that you must struggle for recognition, you will resonate with environments that demand struggle. If you assume that stability is fragile, you will resonate with instability. The field is not punishing you. It is reflecting your dominant frequency. Once you understand this, blame loses its appeal. Responsibility becomes empowering rather than burdensome. The physics of resonance explains why some people appear to attract opportunity effortlessly, It is not that they do not work. It is that their inner assumptions support their outer actions. Their behavior and belief are synchronized. When synchronization occurs, resistance decreases. Doors open not because the world is suddenly generous, but because the person's state no longer contradicts the possibility. You might ask how to shift resonance consciously. The answer lies in repetition of state, not repetition of words alone. Words without belief are hollow, but words that express a genuine assumption gradually reinforce identity. If you wish to resonate with abundance, begin to think from abundance. Make decisions as someone who expects sufficiency. Interpret events as someone who assumes support. The repetition stabilizes the new frequency. Resonance also explains why forcing rarely produces sustainable results. When you push against resistance, you amplify awareness of resistance. When you obsess over what you lack, you strengthen the frequency of lack. The more attention you give to absence, the more vividly absence appears. Instead of amplifying absence, amplify identity. Focus on who you are becoming. Let the outer form adjust accordingly. The traveler resonated with the bowl because he had relinquished desperation. His state was no longer fragmented by fear of missing out. He was present. Presence is coherent. Coherence attracts coherence. When you are internally divided, you broadcast mixed signals. When you are unified, the signal is clear. There is something liberating about this understanding. You do not need to chase every possibility. You do not need to compare yourself to others. What resonates with you will find you when your state matches it, and what does not resonate will either pass by or dissolve. Dissolution is not always loss. It can be protection from misalignment. You are constantly broadcasting, not with words, but with assumption. Every interpretation you choose reinforces a certain vibration. Every reaction either stabilizes or destabilizes your identity. Over time, these choices accumulate into a dominant frequency, and that frequency shapes what becomes visible and sustainable in your life. If you feel stuck in repeating patterns, examine resonance. What state are you consistently inhabiting? What belief feels normal to you? That normality defines your baseline frequency. To change experience, adjust the baseline. Do not attempt to override it with temporary enthusiasm. Integrate it gradually through consistent identification. The physics of resonance is impartial. It does not reward moral virtue. It does not punish imperfection. It mirrors alignment. When your inner state harmonizes with your desire, the outer form stabilizes. When it does not, the form collapses. This is why the bowl remained solid in the traveler's hands. The exchange was harmonious. You are not powerless within this system. You are a participant. You can choose the state you cultivate. You can observe your assumptions. You can realign. And as you do, you will notice that certain possibilities feel drawn to you, not because you begged for them, but because you resonate with them. Resonance is not dramatic. It is consistent. It is the quiet law beneath every encounter. Once you grasp it, you stop chasing and start aligning. You stop blaming and start refining. And when refinement stabilizes, what belongs in your life remains. Resonance is not an abstract idea meant to sound profound. It is practical. It shows itself in the smallest details of your daily life. If you truly understand resonance, you begin to see that every meaningful encounter you have ever experienced was not random. It was correspondence. It was your inner state meeting its outer reflection. And once you see this clearly, you stop attributing your life to luck or fate. You recognize pattern. Think about every book that changed you. At some point it was merely paper and ink, but on the day it impacted you, it felt alive. It felt personal. It felt as though it had been waiting. Why? Because on that day, your state aligned with its message. You were no longer reading from skepticism. You were reading from openness. The resonance between your readiness and the content transformed it from information into revelation. The same is true for relationships. Have you not met someone at a time when you were prepared for growth and the connection altered you deeply? Yet at another stage in your life, you may have encountered a similar person and felt nothing. The difference was not the person alone. It was your state. When you are aligned with evolution, You attract and recognize those who stimulate evolution. When you are aligned with comfort or fear, you resonate with those who reinforce comfort or fear. Resonance operates quietly but consistently. It determines which conversations feel meaningful and which fade quickly. It influences which opportunities stabilize and which dissolve. It shapes how you interpret feedback. If you are aligned with learning, criticism feels constructive. If you are aligned with insecurity, the same criticism feels threatening. The event is identical. The interpretation differs because the state differs. Practically speaking, this means you must take responsibility for your baseline assumption. What do you assume about yourself when no one is watching? What do you expect from life when you are not actively trying to impress anyone? That expectation is your dominant frequency, and it will guide your perception more than any conscious intention you briefly declare. When you understand resonance practically, you stop asking, "Why does this keep happening to me?" and start asking, "What in me corresponds with this pattern?" This question is not self-condemnation. It is self-awareness. It acknowledges that you are participating in the configuration of your experience. It shifts you from victimhood to authorship. Consider how this applies to success. If you assume that success is unstable, you will unconsciously create instability. You may achieve progress, but you will anticipate collapse. That anticipation influences decisions. You may overwork to secure approval. You may doubt your competence. Those behaviors create stress and eventually confirm the instability you feared. The resonance between fear and outcome completes the loop. If instead you assume that growth is natural and sustainable, your actions shift. You make decisions calmly. You build steadily. You interpret setbacks as temporary adjustments rather than evidence of failure. That interpretation influences persistence. Persistence stabilizes results. Again, resonance shapes experience. This does not mean that every event is chosen consciously. It means that your habitual state filters possibility. You do not attract from isolated thoughts. You resonate from repeated identity. If you repeatedly identify as overlooked, you will resonate with environments that overlook you. If you repeatedly identify as valuable, you will gravitate toward environments that recognize value. It is not mystical favoritism. It is alignment. The practical application is simple but demanding. Observe your patterns without defensiveness. Notice recurring themes in relationships, finances, career, self-image. Ask what assumption underlies them. Then deliberately cultivate the opposite assumption, not through force, but through consistent identification. If you notice a pattern of self-doubt, begin practicing decisions from confidence, even small ones. Confidence becomes familiar through repetition. You must also understand that resonance does not change overnight. A tuning fork continues to vibrate at its established pitch until it is influenced consistently by another frequency. In the same way, your old identity may echo for a time, but if you persist in embodying the new state, gradually it becomes dominant. The outer world adjusts as the inner baseline stabilizes. Resonance is why you feel drawn to certain environments. You may walk into a room and feel energized, or feel drained. You are sensing correspondence or conflict. When your state matches the energy of the environment, you feel coherence. When it clashes, you feel tension. Learning to trust this feedback refines your alignment. Practically, this means you choose environments that reinforce the identity you want to sustain. You expose yourself to ideas that strengthen your new assumption. You limit exposure to narratives that contradict it, not out of fear, but out of intentionality. You are calibrating your frequency. When you grasp the practical meaning of resonance, you become less reactive and more deliberate. You no longer interpret every fluctuation as fate. You see it as feedback. If something destabilizes quickly, you ask whether alignment was genuine. If something flows naturally, you recognize resonance. Ultimately, resonance teaches you that life is responsive, not arbitrary. You are not chasing random outcomes. You are aligning with corresponding ones. The more coherent your state, the more coherent your results. And that coherence begins internally, quietly, in the assumptions you choose to live from. Most people believe that growth comes from addition, Add more knowledge. Add more effort. Add more discipline. Add more techniques. They approach transformation as accumulation. But I tell you, true alignment is not built by piling more onto yourself. It is revealed by removing what interferes. Tuning does not require creating a new signal. It requires eliminating distortion. The broadcast is already present. The interference is what blocks clarity. When you adjust a radio, you do not build a new station. You remove static. You move the dial slightly until noise fades and signal becomes clear. In the same way, your state does not need to be manufactured. It needs to be uncovered. The frequency of readiness is not something foreign you must import. It is something obscured by fear, doubt, resentment, and self-judgment. Subtraction reveals what addition cannot. You have likely spent years attempting to improve yourself by gathering more information. Each book promised progress. Each method suggested that if you applied one more strategy, you would finally feel whole. Yet have you noticed how accumulation can become another form of searching, another layer of striving? You stack teachings upon teachings, yet beneath them, the same insecurity remains. Because the insecurity was not addressed. It was covered. Subtraction begins with honesty. What belief is interfering with your resonance? What assumption about yourself keeps you out of alignment? You may say you desire abundance, but if you carry a quiet belief that abundance is selfish or unsafe, that belief interferes. You may say you want love, but if you assume vulnerability leads to loss, that assumption creates distortion. Adding affirmations without addressing distortion creates conflict. When you subtract, you are not destroying yourself. You are clearing obstruction. Think of a sculptor. The sculpture is not added to the stone. It is revealed by removing what is unnecessary. The artist chips away what does not belong. In the same way, your truest state is not constructed. It is uncovered by releasing what is false. Release the belief that you are behind. Release the narrative that you are inadequate. Release the attachment to proving yourself constantly. This process may feel uncomfortable because you are relinquishing identities that once felt protective. Doubt may have shielded you from disappointment. Cynicism may have protected you from vulnerability. Overworking may have shielded you from criticism. But these protections also block resonance. They distort your signal. Subtraction requires courage. It asks you to let go of familiar defenses. You do not subtract through self-attack. You subtract through awareness. Notice when you interpret neutral events negatively. Notice when you assume rejection before confirmation. Notice when you expect failure without evidence. Each time you observe these patterns without indulging them, you weaken their hold. Awareness begins erosion. There is simplicity in subtraction. Instead of asking, "What more must I do?" ask, "What must I release?" Instead of seeking new strategies, examine old assumptions. Instead of layering more effort, soften unnecessary tension. When you remove resistance, alignment emerges naturally. You do not have to force clarity. It appears when static fades. Consider how much energy is spent defending identity. You may defend the story of being misunderstood. You may defend the belief that life is unfair. You may defend the idea that success is difficult. These defenses require constant reinforcement. When you release them, energy returns to you. That returned energy stabilizes your new state. Subtraction also applies to external input. If you continuously consume narratives of fear, scarcity, and limitation, those narratives reinforce distortion. You do not need to absorb every opinion. You do not need to internalize every criticism. Curate what enters your awareness. Protect the baseline of your identity. Subtract unnecessary noise. The irony is that subtraction often feels like loss at first. You may feel uncertain without your usual doubts. You may feel exposed without your usual defenses. But that exposure is openness, and openness allows resonance. When you are not preoccupied with defending yourself, you are available to recognize alignment. Tuning through subtraction requires patience. Static does not disappear instantly, but each time you decline to rehearse an old fear, you adjust the dial. Each time you refuse to indulge self-criticism, you refine frequency. Over time, clarity increases. What once felt chaotic begins to feel coherent. You are not becoming someone entirely new. You are shedding what was never essential. Beneath insecurity there is steadiness. Beneath fear there is capacity. Beneath self-doubt there is awareness. Subtraction reveals these qualities. They were present all along, obscured by layers of conditioning. When you understand this, you stop overwhelming yourself with endless techniques. You simplify. You focus on releasing contradiction. You choose to inhabit assumptions that feel expansive. And when contradiction fades, resonance strengthens. Opportunities feel less forced. Decisions feel clearer. Your interactions stabilize. Tuning through subtraction teaches you that readiness is not achieved by stacking more onto your identity. It is achieved by removing what blocks coherence. The less noise you carry, the more clearly the signal flows. And when the signal flows, the field responds without resistance. Gratitude is not politeness. It is alignment. Most people misunderstand gratitude as a moral obligation, something you practice to appear positive or spiritually mature. But gratitude is far more precise than that. It is a gateway. It shifts your position from seeking to receiving, and that shift changes what stabilizes in your life. When you are genuinely grateful, you are not chasing. You are recognizing. Recognition is resonance. Think carefully about what happens inside you when you feel true gratitude. Your body softens. Your breath steadies. Your mind quiets. You are not grasping for what is missing. You are aware of what is present. That awareness reorganizes your frequency. It signals that you are not operating from lack. It signals readiness. This is why gratitude amplifies experience. Whatever you are grateful for becomes more vivid in your awareness. Not because the universe rewards politeness, but because your attention strengthens correspondence. When you consistently recognize support, you begin to notice more support. When you recognize opportunity, you perceive more opportunity. The field does not suddenly create new events. Your perception aligns with what was already available. I want you to approach gratitude as a deliberate practice, not as a vague sentiment. Sit quietly. Recall 3 moments in your life when something arrived at exactly the right time. A conversation that clarified confusion, a challenge that forced growth, a book that answered an unspoken question. Do not rush this. Feel the timing. Feel how precisely each event intersected with your readiness. As you revisit these moments, say internally, I recognize the perfect timing of my life. Notice what happens. You may feel resistance. You may recall periods of pain and question whether they were truly timely. Stay present. Even the painful moments prepared you. Even the delays refined you. Gratitude does not deny difficulty. It reframes it. When you practice this consistently, you train your mind to perceive orchestration rather than randomness. You begin to see pattern. You realize that you were not abandoned during confusion. You were being positioned. That recognition dissolves anxiety. Anxiety thrives on the belief that life is chaotic and unsupported. Gratitude reveals coherence. The gateway opens further when you extend gratitude to what has not yet materialized. This is not delusion. It is assumption. When you are grateful in advance, you are embodying the state of receiving before physical confirmation. You are aligning with the end rather than the absence. Gratitude for what is coming stabilizes the identity of someone who expects fulfillment. You may think this feels artificial, but remember, your identity has been shaped by repetition. If you repeatedly rehearsed fear, fear became familiar. If you repeatedly rehearsed doubt, doubt became normal. In the same way, repeated gratitude makes receptivity familiar. It shifts your baseline expectation from scarcity to sufficiency. Gratitude also protects you from forcing outcomes. When you are grateful for what is already unfolding, you do not rush timing. You trust development. You act when inspired, not when desperate. Desperation distorts resonance. Gratitude stabilizes it. It keeps you aligned with flow. There is another layer to this practice. When you express gratitude publicly or verbally, you reinforce identity. Saying I am grateful signals that you recognize support. Recognition reinforces readiness. When you write or speak gratitude consistently, you are training your nervous system to expect coherence. That expectation shapes perception. You might notice subtle changes when you commit to this practice. Interactions feel smoother, solutions appear sooner, delays feel less threatening. This is not superstition. It is recalibration. Your state has shifted from lack to recognition, and recognition resonates with stability. Do not confuse gratitude with complacency. You can be grateful and still aspire. The difference is that aspiration arises from expansion, not deficiency. When you aspire from deficiency, you feel incomplete. When you aspire from gratitude, you feel capable. The same goal feels different depending on state. If you encounter resistance while practicing gratitude, examine it gently. Perhaps a part of you believes that acknowledging good fortune will invite loss. Perhaps you were conditioned to expect disappointment. Recognize this belief. Thank it for trying to protect you. Then release it. Protection rooted in fear blocks resonance. The gratitude gateway is simple but powerful. Each time you pause and acknowledge what has aligned in your life, you strengthen the frequency of readiness. You signal that you are not merely searching, you are receiving. And when receiving becomes familiar, the field responds accordingly. You do not need elaborate rituals. You need consistency. 3 moments each day, 3 recognitions of timing, 3 acknowledgements of support. Over time, you will notice that life feels less like a series of random events and more like a coherent unfolding. That coherence is not new. It was always there. Gratitude allowed you to see it. You are always broadcasting. Whether you are aware of it or not, your state communicates, not through volume, not through performance. Through presence, the field responds not to what you say you want, but to what you consistently embody. And when you shift your identity from seeking to receiving, something subtle but powerful happens. You become energetically visible to what already corresponds with you. Most people live as if they are invisible to opportunity. They feel overlooked, bypassed, unseen. They assume life is moving around them while they remain unnoticed. But invisibility is not imposed from outside. It is generated from within. When you identify with doubt, when you shrink yourself in expectation of rejection, when you assume that nothing significant is coming your way, you broadcast concealment. The field reflects concealment. Becoming energetically visible does not mean forcing attention. It does not mean chasing validation. It means stabilizing an identity that expects recognition. When you expect alignment, you notice alignment. When you expect opportunity, you perceive it. When you expect resonance, you respond confidently rather than hesitating. That confidence is visible. Think of how different you feel when you are certain versus uncertain. In uncertainty, your posture tightens, your voice lowers, your decisions stall. In certainty, even quiet certainty, your movements are deliberate, your speech is grounded, your choices are cleaner. The difference is not arrogance, it is coherence. And coherence signals visibility. You become visible when you stop hiding behind old stories. If you constantly narrate your limitations, you reinforce invisibility. If you rehearse failure before action, you dampen projection. But when you begin to think from capability rather than toward it, your behavior shifts. You apply differently. You speak differently. You choose differently. These choices create new interactions, and those interactions confirm the identity you are stabilizing. Energetic visibility is not about being seen by everyone. It is about being seen by what corresponds. You may still be ignored by what does not match your state. That is not rejection. It is filtration. The more coherent your frequency, the more selective resonance becomes. Not everything responds to you, only what aligns. This is why internal work precedes external change. You cannot demand visibility from a state of concealment. You must embody the state that naturally draws attention. That embodiment is not theatrical. It is consistent. You no longer apologize for existing. You no longer downplay your aspirations. You no longer preemptively disqualify yourself. These subtle shifts broadcast confidence. Consider how opportunities often appear to arrive suddenly. In reality, They respond to gradual alignment. You may feel as though recognition came overnight, but internally, you have been stabilizing readiness. You have been refining assumption. When readiness solidifies, the field adjusts quickly. What seemed invisible becomes apparent. You also become visible by releasing comparison. Comparison fragments your signal. When you measure yourself constantly against others, you distort identity. You begin broadcasting inadequacy or superiority rather than authenticity. Both distortions interfere with coherence. Authentic presence, free from comparison, strengthens resonance. Becoming energetically visible requires that you trust your internal authority. When you wait for permission, you delay embodiment. When you defer to external validation, you weaken projection. But when you act from inner certainty, even in small ways, you strengthen alignment. Each decisive action confirms identity. Each confirmation amplifies signal. You may notice that as you shift, certain relationships fade. This is not loss. It is recalibration. When your state changes, correspondence changes. Some individuals may not resonate with your new frequency. Others will enter naturally. Visibility reorganizes your environment. There is a calm power in this understanding. You do not need to chase every possibility. You do not need to demand acknowledgement. You need to stabilize your identity. The rest adjusts. When you are internally consistent, your presence carries weight. That weight is felt. That feeling draws corresponding experience. If you ever feel invisible, ask what assumption you are inhabiting. Are you assuming neglect? Are you assuming scarcity? Are you assuming that others are more deserving? These assumptions shape posture, tone, initiative. Adjust the assumption and behavior follows. Behavior influences interaction. Interaction reinforces identity. Energetic visibility is simply alignment expressed outwardly. When your inner state and outer behavior correspond, your signal is clear. Clarity attracts response. Confusion diffuse it. The field does not ignore you. It mirrors you. You do not become visible by shouting louder. You become visible by standing firmly in your chosen identity. When you expect to be seen, you show up differently. When you expect opportunity, you recognize it quickly. When you expect resonance, you respond confidently. These responses compound. You are not waiting to be noticed. You are stabilizing the state that naturally draws notice. And as you do, you will realize that visibility was never withheld. It was awaiting coherence. Let me tell you about the blacksmith. Not as a legend from another world, but as a mirror for you. This man believed in force. He believed that strength meant pressure, that mastery meant domination. For years he stood at his forge, striking iron with relentless certainty. The louder the hammer fell, the more he felt in control. Sparks flew and metal bent, and he interpreted submission as success. You may recognize this pattern. You have been taught that effort proves worth, that pushing harder guarantees outcome, that if something resists, the solution is more intensity. So you tighten your jaw, you strain your mind, you double your effort, and sometimes, temporarily, results appear. But beneath the surface there is friction. The outcome feels heavy. Maintenance becomes exhausting. One day the blacksmith encountered a piece of iron that refused him. He heated it beyond his usual temperature. He struck it with greater force. He changed angles and tools. Nothing worked. The iron would not yield. His frustration grew. The very method that had defined his identity now failed him. And with that failure, something deeper was exposed. His belief in force had limits. You have experienced your own stubborn iron, a relationship that does not respond to pressure, a goal that does not advance despite increased effort, a habit that persists no matter how harshly you discipline yourself. In those moments you may interpret resistance as proof that you are not trying hard enough. But what if resistance is not an invitation to push harder? What if it is feedback? That night the blacksmith did something unfamiliar. He stopped striking. He sat in silence beside the cooling forge. He listened, and in that stillness he realized something profound. The metal was not an enemy to conquer. It had structure. It had properties. It had a natural inclination towards certain forms. He had been imposing his will rather than collaborating with its nature. You do the same when you force outcomes. You assume that desire alone entitles you to control. You ignore timing. You ignore readiness. You ignore the subtle guidance of intuition. And when the result does not match expectation, you blame yourself or circumstances. Rarely do you question the method. The illusion of force is seductive because it gives you a sense of control. When you push, you feel active. When you strain, you feel committed. But force often masks fear. Fear of losing opportunity. Fear of appearing weak. Fear of surrendering control. Underneath force is anxiety, and anxiety distorts resonance. When the blacksmith returned to his forge the next day, he approached differently. He heated the iron carefully. He observed how it responded. Instead of striking immediately, he adjusted gradually. He allowed the material to reveal its pliability. His movements became measured rather than aggressive. And something shifted. The iron began to bend naturally. Not because it was beaten into submission, but because it was guided. Guidance requires presence. Presence requires calm. Calm requires trust. Force collapses trust. When you operate from force, you communicate to yourself that you do not believe flow is possible. You assume that without constant pressure, nothing will move. That assumption becomes self-fulfilling. You exhaust yourself and call it discipline. The blacksmith discovered that strength is not volume. It is precision. It is timing. It is knowing when to apply pressure and when to release it. You must learn this balance. There are moments when action is necessary, but action rooted in clarity differs from action rooted in panic. Clarity does not rush. Panic does. Think about how you pursue your desires. Do you tighten when you think about them? Do you feel urgency laced with fear? That tension reveals force. When you imagine your goal from a state of calm inevitability, your body responds differently. There is confidence without strain. That state is alignment. The blacksmith's greatest realization was that he was not separate from the metal. He was part of the same system. His temperature affected it. His rhythm influenced it. His intention shaped it. In the same way, you are not separate from the reality you are trying to shape. Your state influences outcome. Your expectation influences direction. Your calm influences stability. Force attempts to override resistance. Alignment dissolves resistance. When you stop fighting the current and begin moving with it, energy is conserved. You accomplish more with less strain. This does not mean passivity. It means cooperation. You act in harmony with timing rather than against it. Consider how different it feels to push a door that is locked versus turning the handle. Force against a locked door creates noise and frustration. Turning the handle requires awareness. Many of your struggles resemble pushing a locked door. You assume persistence will break it open. But sometimes the solution is simply to change approach. The illusion of force convinces you that effort equals progress. But progress aligned with coherence feels different. It feels steady. It feels sustainable. You do not collapse afterward. You are not depleted by achievement. Instead, you feel strengthened. When you release force, you do not lose power. You refine it. You replace brute intensity with intelligent alignment. You trust that what is meant to form will form when your state and timing correspond. You still act. You still decide. But you do so from grounded certainty rather than frantic urgency. The blacksmith did not abandon his forge. He transformed his relationship with it. You do not abandon ambition. You transform your posture toward it. Let go of the belief that more pressure guarantees outcome. Embrace the understanding that resonance shapes result. When you align with flow rather than fight it, creation becomes cooperation rather than conquest. You have been conditioned to believe that domination equals power, that if you can control every variable, anticipate every outcome, and outmaneuver every obstacle, you will be secure. But control born from fear is not strength. It is tension disguised as authority, and tension fractures resonance. Flow, on the other hand, is not weakness. It is alignment expressed through action. Flow does not mean you abandon intention. It means your intention is not entangled with anxiety. When you move from flow, you act with clarity rather than compulsion. Your decisions are deliberate, not reactive. You are not forcing the river to change direction. You are positioning yourself within its current. Consider how a river moves. It does not argue with rocks. It does not panic when encountering resistance. It adjusts. It curves. It deepens. Over time, it shapes stone not by aggression but by consistency. Flow is persistent without strain. Domination is loud but unstable. The river outlasts the hammer because it works with natural structure rather than against it. When you attempt to dominate circumstances, you operate from the assumption that life is adversarial. You assume that unless you assert force, you will be overpowered. That assumption creates vigilance. Vigilance hardens your body. Hardened bodies generate shallow breath. Shallow breath fuels anxious thought. Anxiety distorts perception. You begin reacting rather than responding. Flow begins with trust. Not blind trust, but grounded trust in coherence. You trust that timing has structure. You trust that alignment brings clarity. You trust that when something resists intensely, it may not correspond with your current state. Instead of pushing harder, you pause. You observe. You recalibrate. You may fear that without domination you will become passive. But flow is not passivity. It is active participation without aggression. You still make decisions. You still take initiative. But your action emerges from calm certainty rather than urgency. You are not proving yourself. You are expressing yourself. There is a difference between forcing opportunity and allowing opportunity to respond to you. When you force, you chase outcomes that may not resonate. When you allow, you recognize what aligns and move toward it confidently. Allowing does not mean waiting idly. It means refusing to act from panic. Think of moments when you were completely immersed in an activity. Time seemed to dissolve. Effort felt natural. You were not struggling against yourself. That is flow. Your attention was unified. Your identity was coherent. You were not split between doubt and desire. In that state, performance improves without strain. Creativity emerges without pressure. Domination fractures identity. You become divided between what you fear and what you pursue. You attempt to override fear with intensity. But intensity cannot dissolve contradiction. Only integration can. When you acknowledge fear without submitting to it, you reduce its grip. When you choose to act from steadiness, you rewire your baseline. Flow requires that you relinquish the illusion of total control. You cannot dictate every variable, but you can govern your state. When your state is coherent, your choices align naturally with favorable outcomes. Even when circumstances shift, you adapt rather than collapse. You may notice that when you push too aggressively toward a goal, unexpected obstacles multiply. This is not cosmic punishment. It is friction created by misalignment. When you soften and adjust, resistance often decreases. Doors open that were previously rigid. Conversations unfold differently. Timing shifts. Flow also deepens your intuition. When you are not consumed by controlling every detail, you can sense subtle guidance. You perceive nuances. You detect opportunities that force would have overlooked. Domination narrows perception. Flow expands it. The irony is that many of your most meaningful achievements likely occurred when you were not obsessing over them. They unfolded when you were engaged, present, and steady. You acted because it felt natural, not because you feared missing out. That naturalness is flow. You must understand that domination often stems from insecurity. You dominate because you doubt your worth. You dominate because you fear invisibility. You dominate because you distrust timing. When you cultivate self-assurance, domination becomes unnecessary. You no longer need to conquer what you already resonate with. Flow does not eliminate discipline. It refines it. Discipline in flow is consistent action without emotional volatility. You show up regularly, but you do not spiral if outcomes fluctuate. You trust progression. You trust development. When you embody flow, others feel it. Your presence becomes calm rather than tense. Your speech becomes grounded rather than pressured. Your decisions appear confident rather than desperate. This presence invites collaboration rather than conflict. Domination isolates. Flow attracts. Choose flow when faced with resistance. Instead of escalating effort immediately, examine alignment. Ask whether your intention arises from fear or clarity. Adjust accordingly. Let your action be guided by resonance rather than ego. You are not here to conquer reality. You are here to align with it. When you move with the current instead of against it, your power increases without strain. Flow transforms effort into elegance. It converts anxiety into steadiness, and in that steadiness, what belongs to you stabilizes naturally. You think you are late. You think if you had known earlier, acted sooner, understood faster, your life would look different now. You replay conversations. You revisit decisions. You imagine alternate timelines where you discovered truth 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And beneath all of it is one assumption: I am behind. But I want you to hear me clearly. You are exactly on time. Sacred timing is not mystical favoritism. It is alignment between your level of awareness and the lesson presented. If you had encountered certain truths before you were prepared to embody them, they would have passed through you without impact. You might have understood intellectually, but you would not have integrated them. Information without readiness evaporates. Look back at your life honestly. There were moments when advice was given to you and you ignored it. Later, perhaps years later, the same advice reached you again, and suddenly it felt profound. What changed? Not the words. You changed. Your experiences matured you. Your failures softened you. Your pain expanded you. The soil of your consciousness had been prepared. You are not late. You are ripening. Ripening cannot be rushed. If you pick fruit too early, it is sour. If you demand growth before development, it collapses under its own weight. Timing protects you from premature manifestation. It prevents you from receiving what you cannot yet sustain. Many of your delays were not punishment. They were calibration. If certain opportunities had appeared when you were driven by insecurity, you would have misused them. If certain relationships had formed before you understood yourself, you would have sabotaged them. If certain success had arrived before your character stabilized, it would have destabilized you. You must release the narrative that you missed your window. Windows are not fixed. They open when readiness matches possibility. That matching cannot be faked. You cannot pretend maturity. You cannot imitate embodiment. The field responds to your actual state. Consider how different you are today compared to who you were 5 years ago. The same challenges that once overwhelmed you may now feel manageable. The same criticism that once wounded you may now feel informative. Growth has occurred quietly. You may not celebrate it daily, but it is undeniable. Sacred timing means that nothing essential has bypassed you. What belongs in your life corresponds with who you are becoming. When you accelerate artificially, you create friction. When you accept your pace, you build stability. Stability sustains blessing. You may compare yourself to others and feel delayed, but comparison ignores context. You do not know their internal development. You do not know their private struggles. You only see fragments. Your path is not linear competition. It is layered evolution. Each lesson builds capacity. There were times when you believed something had ended permanently. A rejection, a failure, a missed opportunity. Later, you realized that it redirected you. What seemed like delay was protection. What felt like stagnation was repositioning. Sacred timing rearranges without your full awareness. Trusting timing does not mean abandoning ambition. It means acting from alignment rather than desperation. When you act from desperation, you assume time is against you. When you act from trust, you assume time collaborates with you. That assumption shapes behavior. Behavior shapes outcome. You may feel urgency as you hear these words. Urgency to transform quickly. Urgency to prove readiness. Release that urgency. Urgency born from fear contradicts readiness. Readiness is calm willingness. It is the understanding that growth is continuous. If something has not materialized yet, ask whether your state matches its maintenance. Not to criticize yourself, but to refine yourself. Development precedes delivery. Expansion precedes embodiment. Each phase prepares the next. Sacred timing also dissolves regret. Regret assumes that past versions of you should have possessed current awareness, but awareness evolves through experience. You could not have acted from wisdom you had not yet earned. The past version of you acted from the highest understanding available then. Forgive yourself for what you did not know. Release the fantasy of perfection. You are unfolding. Every step, even missteps, contributes to refinement. Nothing is wasted. Experience accumulates into clarity. You are exactly on time because your consciousness is precisely where it needs to be to integrate what you are hearing now. If you had encountered this realization earlier, you might have dismissed it. Now it resonates. That resonance proves readiness. Stop measuring your life against arbitrary timelines. Stop equating speed with worth. Depth matters more than haste. Stability matters more than spectacle. Sacred timing honors internal maturity. The next phase of your life does not require frantic acceleration. It requires coherence. Build coherence patiently. Align steadily. Trust that what corresponds will meet you at the right intersection of readiness and opportunity. You are not racing the clock. You are harmonizing with it. And when harmony stabilizes, progress feels natural rather than forced. You are not behind. You are unfolding exactly as required. Seeking appears noble. It sounds spiritual. It feels proactive. You tell yourself you are searching for truth, for clarity, for purpose, for love, for abundance, and in many ways seeking is necessary. Questions expand you. Exploration refines you. But there is a shadow side to seeking that most people never examine. Seeking can become addiction. Seeking can become identity. And when it does, it quietly reinforces the belief that what you want is always somewhere else. If you are constantly searching, you are broadcasting lack. You are declaring that fulfillment is not here. That wholeness is not now. That clarity is not within you. Even if your words speak confidence, the underlying assumption of seeking is that you are incomplete. And that assumption shapes experience. Think about how it feels to seek. There is movement. Yes, but there is also tension. There is a subtle belief that something essential is missing. You scroll through teachings. You consume content. You move from one method to another. Each new discovery excites you briefly. Then the excitement fades and you begin searching again. This cycle creates temporary inspiration but little embodiment. The shadow of seeking is avoidance. When you keep searching, you avoid integrating. Integration requires stillness. It requires application. It requires that you stop gathering and start becoming. But becoming feels risky. It demands responsibility. It removes the comfort of saying, I am still looking. As long as you are seeking, you can blame the absence of results on incomplete information. You can tell yourself you have not yet found the right technique. But when you stop seeking and begin embodying, excuses disappear. Results reflect identity directly. That reflection can feel confronting. Seeking also fragments attention. You divide your focus among countless possibilities. You compare teachings. You doubt conclusions. You hesitate to commit. Commitment feels final. Seeking feels open-ended. But without commitment, identity remains unstable, and instability weakens resonance. There is nothing wrong with learning. The shadow emerges when learning replaces living. When you gather insights but avoid applying them. When you chase novelty instead of depth. Depth requires repetition. Repetition requires patience. Patience feels uncomfortable to a mind addicted to stimulation. You may notice that the more you seek externally, the quieter your internal voice becomes. You drown it in noise. You assume wisdom must come from outside because you distrust your own perception. That distrust reinforces seeking, and the cycle continues. The shadow side of seeking also manifests as comparison. You observe others who appear enlightened or successful and assume they possess something you lack. You begin chasing their path rather than cultivating your own. But imitation cannot replace integration. You may replicate behavior, but without corresponding belief, results will feel hollow. Seeking can create spiritual ego. You collect concepts. You speak eloquently about alignment and resonance. Yet beneath the vocabulary there is anxiety. Anxiety that you are still not enough. Anxiety that you must keep acquiring knowledge to justify your worth. That anxiety contradicts readiness. When you understand the shadow, you do not condemn seeking. You refine it. You seek until you recognize that the next step is embodiment. You gather until you realize that application matters more than accumulation. At some point, you must shift from asking what else is out there to asking who am I becoming. Recognition replaces seeking. Recognition says I already have access to what I need to integrate next. Recognition trusts internal authority. It does not dismiss guidance, but it does not depend on endless external validation. You may fear that stopping seeking means stagnation. It does not. It means anchoring. When you anchor in a chosen identity, growth continues, but it becomes layered rather than scattered. You deepen instead of drifting. The traveler in the marketplace found the bowl when he stopped searching desperately. His search had matured into openness. He was no longer looking frantically for an object to complete him. He was ready to recognize alignment. That shift changed everything. Ask yourself honestly, are you seeking because you are curious, or because you are afraid to commit? Are you exploring because you are expanding, or because you are avoiding responsibility for embodiment? These questions require courage, but answering them reveals the shadow. When you release the identity of seeker, you do not lose curiosity. You gain stability. You become someone who integrates, someone who embodies, someone who trusts that the next insight will arise when needed. Without frantic pursuit, the shadow side of seeking dissolves when you accept that you are not fundamentally lacking. You are developing. Development does not require endless searching. It requires deliberate integration. It requires choosing a state and living from it consistently. Stop chasing the next revelation. Live the one already given to you. If you truly believe in resonance, then trust that what aligns with your growth will appear without obsession. Shift from seeking to recognizing. Shift from accumulation to embodiment. In that shift, you will discover that what you thought was missing was never absent. It was waiting for you to stop looking elsewhere and start standing here. Active receiving is not passive waiting. It is deliberate embodiment. It is the moment you stop asking when will it come and begin asking who must I be to sustain it. Receiving is not about stretching your hands outward. It is about stabilizing your identity inward. And when that identity stabilizes, something inevitable happens. The old version of you begins to collapse. This collapse is not destruction. It is shedding. You cannot inhabit a new frequency while clinging to an old self-concept. If you declare that you are ready for abundance but secretly identify as someone who struggles, there will be tension. If you say you are prepared for love but still see yourself as unworthy, there will be contradiction. Active receiving demands coherence. Coherence demands identity shift. You may notice discomfort when you begin embodying a new state. Old thoughts resist. Old habits attempt to reassert control. Familiar fears whisper that you are pretending. This is not failure. This is transition. The mind prefers stability even if that stability is limiting. It will attempt to preserve the old narrative because it feels known, but known does not equal aligned. The identity you have outgrown may feel safe, yet it restricts possibility. When you begin receiving actively, you no longer rehearse your old limitations. You refuse to narrate yourself as broken. You decline to repeat stories of inadequacy. Each refusal weakens the old structure. Identity collapse can feel like loss. You may grieve the version of yourself who struggled, who sought validation, who defined themselves by hardship. That identity carried you for a time. It protected you when you lacked awareness. But it cannot accompany you into expanded resonance. Active receiving means you accept that the new version of you behaves differently. You respond differently to criticism. You interpret delay differently. You choose differently under pressure. These choices reinforce the emerging identity, and as the new identity strengthens, the old one dissolves naturally. There may be moments when you feel suspended between selves, not fully attached to who you were, not yet fully embodied in who you are becoming. This in-between space can feel unstable, but it is fertile. It is the gap where transformation integrates. Receiving actively also means you stop deflecting what aligns with you. When opportunity appears, you do not question whether you deserve it. When appreciation is offered, you accept it without minimizing yourself. When growth invites you forward, you step without excessive hesitation. Each acceptance reinforces identity. Many people sabotage receiving because it challenges familiarity. They unconsciously return to old behaviors to feel normal again. They shrink after expansion. They reject after progress. This is the shadow of identity attachment. But when you commit to active receiving, you interrupt that cycle. You might ask how to remain grounded during identity collapse. The answer is awareness. Notice the urge to revert. Notice the temptation to dramatize difficulty. Notice the pull toward narratives of lack. Do not condemn these impulses. Observe them. Observation weakens compulsion. As the old identity collapses, your external world may shift. Relationships may recalibrate. Opportunities may accelerate. Some environments may no longer fit. This is not chaos. It is reorganization. When your internal structure changes, correspondence adjusts. Active receiving requires courage because it removes excuses. You can no longer say, "I am not ready." You can no longer delay embodiment. You become accountable to your chosen frequency. That accountability feels intense at first, but it is empowering. You will know identity collapse is occurring when what once defined you feels distant, when the stories you repeated lose emotional charge, when the fears that once dominated your decisions lose urgency. This is not indifference. It is evolution. Receiving actively also deepens trust. You no longer need constant reassurance. You do not chase proof relentlessly. You recognize alignment and respond. This responsiveness strengthens coherence. Coherence stabilizes manifestation. Remember, collapse is not annihilation. It is refinement. The unnecessary layers fall away. The core remains. You do not become someone artificial. You become someone integrated. The version of you that doubted readiness dissolves. The version that embodies readiness stands. There is a threshold in every transformation, a moment when you decide whether to return to familiarity or advance into alignment. Active receiving is choosing advancement repeatedly. It is saying yes to coherence even when it feels unfamiliar. You are not waiting for permission to receive. You are not earning worthiness through struggle. You are recognizing that your identity determines sustainability. When you change identity, experience changes accordingly. The collapse of the old self is proof that resonance is stabilizing. It signals that you are no longer broadcasting contradiction. You are broadcasting clarity, and clarity attracts correspondence. Active receiving is the final integration. It is the moment you stop seeking validation and start embodying alignment. It is the willingness to let outdated narratives fall. And as they fall, space opens. In that space, what belongs to you remains without strain.